Another day, another video. This is chapter 3 of part 1, JavaScript for kids, for dummies, for guys like yourself. Yeah. To all those that are watching, it's for you, right? So if you guys can go to page 105 of your books, right? If you have them, and then you'll be dissecting how JavaScript, CSS, and HTML actually work in coherence with one another. See now. Come on. Okay. Building an animated robot, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are a great team. Each piece works with the other two to make great things happen in web browsers. In this chapter, right, we all put the piece together to make this to JavaScript. Obviously, work in a way that it's got different functions, right? So I love JS, changing the CSS JavaScript. Just you can use JavaScript to change the HTML on the web page. You can also use it to change CSS styles. The process is very similar. The first step is to select the element you want to apply or change style on, right? In chapter 5, we show you how to do this by using getElementById. For example, to select this lefteye, you can use the following code, right? document.getElementById, right? That's what you do in the JavaScript, right? And then obviously you need your variable first, right? Then this is how you this is the identification that you use, right? Get elements by ID. Then once you select an element, style it by attaching the style property selector, followed by the style you want to change. Change the color of the left eye. You can use this JavaScript, right? Document get element by ID, right? Style that background color equals purple. Do you notice anything strange about this code compared to how you change the background color with CSS? When change style to JavaScript, there are two rules, right? So when CSS property is just one word, such as marginal border, you can use the same CSS name, change the style in JavaScript. The CSS property has dashes, right? The CSS property name gets converted to camel case. So background color gets changed to background color. Right, so obviously we're going to be camel casing. As you can see here, is the camel case. This example of camel casing, so you don't have to add a dash, right? But the minute yeah, don't add a dash, right? Right, so yeah, there are some examples of CSS properties. Now each property is spelled in JavaScript. So CSS property has dashes. The JavaScript style property's got background color. It's just got camel casing. Then, right, you can see you can see the same thing there. Right, so JavaScript cares a lot about capitalization. The capital letters in the JavaScript style properties need to be there in order for the properties to work. So modifying JavaScript, right? So obviously, we go to VS Studios, right? So here you got the unanimated robot. Got the robot here. Got that robot, right? Right. So basically what you can do step by step is this, for example, when you see an element animation, right? Get element by ID head, start transform, rotate 15 degrees, right? Okay. So yeah. So you click that, right? You run it. Then after you run it, consider yourself. I'll go from that to this, right? Its head has been tilted by 15 degrees. Remember that this, right? So there comes possibilities for customizing this robot using JavaScript style properties. Let's start experimenting with a few. Try adding each of the following statements to the JavaScript pane and then run them. Right, so obviously in high school, here's the thing, especially fresh out of high school, right? So you used to doing everything by the book, right? Everything. So whatever the book says, you have to do, right? Just follow it step by step, right? Textually, right? However, in the outside world, outside of school, if you get given a template, right, or basis of teaching in which, right, they give you guidelines of how to do things. Instead of just following text by text, you take the structure or the way it's being set out and then making your own like set of basically examples, not through the book, but your own set of examples, right? So you won't have a case where you basically like a robot like you were in high school where the teacher just tell you to do something, then do it immediately by the book, right? So you just, for example, you got these types of instructions. But obviously you can do the structure that you need, right? That's been set out, obviously like slashes, semicolon, right? Then the get element by ID. But this, however, this, however, can be personalized, right? This can be personalized. That can be personalized. All of that can be personalized, right? So obviously, yeah, that's what you do. So this is just an example of what you're gonna do in order to like animate your robot, right? So obviously, yeah, in the animation, right, will be done. So obviously, all of this is in like JavaScript. So basically, you're taking like the stuff that you've got in chapter 6 and you're just adding JavaScript to it in chapter 7. So let me check this file explorer. But as you can see, there's an animation, right? So you go to inspect, right? Elements, you do elements, right? Then obviously you can see the different functions that all the highlights, right? Will show you like each element of HTML, what type of body part is responsible for, right? So obviously, as you can see here, right? As you can see here, there's animation there, right? And then let me show you another one. If you want, obviously, if it gets too difficult for you in regards to adding all the codes for like main.js, robot HTML, then style.css, go to Dummies source code, right? Then download, right, the PDF with the template that Dummy source code comes in. And then basically download it, put it in a file, and then you automatically if you put it in the file responsible for the different files that you see here in VS Studios, you can automatically see it. So you see Dummies code, but it's got every chapter, right? Chapter 517 for the JavaScript for Dummies PDF, right? So the robot that I've showed you, this is just the basics, right? With only it's just a basic model, right? I'll show you an advanced one though. There you go. There's an advanced one. As you can see here, the head has been tilted 15 degrees, right? The head has been tilted, right? The head. So as you can see here, so all of this that you see in the elements, right? All of this identifications and everything is responsible for what you see here. So let's see here. Move this, move that, and move that. Right, so yeah. Right, so as you can see, rotate 15 degrees, right, the head. The left eye background color purple. So obviously you can see, including the comments, right? It's got comments. So it's got comments, basically, these are characteristics, right? That basically say instructions, right? What needs to be done, the comments, right? Then the identifications are there to make sure that the web browser pick up what needs to be displayed on the web page, so you can see it like here's what is displayed on the web browser, right? These are the different identifications, right, on the web browser. What's displayed here? This is displayed because ID, right? This is displayed because the identification has been put there, right? Okay. Right, and then yes, 2px black solid. Right, and then yeah, eye arm head, right eye, background cup position, yeah. So basically this is what we need to do. Install CSS, right? This is basically settings. This basically sets the structures. HTML, what it does is it makes sure that all of this gets displayed on the console, right? Make sure everything gets displayed on the console. Then this makes sure that everything that gets displayed on the web browser. This is the language that is displayed to display the stuff that we can actually see, right? So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. So as I said before, all of these templates are responsible, right, for the websites that you see. This website that you see, whether it be online websites you use to buy stuff like sneakers, furniture, all of these make use of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, right, to create different animations and stuff that you used to see. But obviously, this is the simple version. This is basically the simple version. That's type of stuff that's on steroids. Don't worry, I'm not advertising steroid use. I'm just telling you what. I'm just telling you that these aren't expectations. What I showed you is basically the stepping stone for what's to come in your career as a web developer. Thank you very much for your time, for your undivided time. Take care, stay safe, and the Lord Jesus Christ